You can't make me.
Malfurion.
Oh,
versus
man.
Malfurion.
I must protect the wild. Nature must be preserved.
Not playing the same deck that I just bought a one-way ticket to Sad Town. I don't know. This opener is super sketch. We're about to see how much he respects the egg. Short answer is he does not respect the egg.
The land serves me. A natural mistake.
What, dear?
Job's done.
They got her meds in it? Okay. She doesn't like the really big ones. Could be.
For the wild.
The end is
Anyway.
The land serves me.
I believe this is the turn I use my silence.
What to do?
But I also kind of like the idea of swiping this, because that means that I can just crash into it with that. Going face and letting it go off isn't necessarily a bad thing either.
I must safeguard the land. Time waits for no one.
I think this is right. The body that he can't get off the board, which makes his spreading plight just slightly worse, if that's what he's got. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there it is. This clears one. This plus that clears one makes me do 2, 3, 4. Clears another one. I don't need a Savage Roar here. Son of a bitch.
Nature's wrath already attacked.
Not that big of a deal. Not my big spider. Soul of the Forest is pretty big pickup, though. Soul of the Forest means I can just crash my dudes into his whole board and not care.
Time waits for no one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He's at 21. Okay, I got it.
For the wild. Heal nature's wrath.
Ta-da! Math is hard.
Malfurion versus Thrall.
For Doomhammer, I must protect the wild.
This is much better opener than the previous one. That's pretty much a no-brainer right there. The other two are not aggressive enough for me to warrant picking them up. The only other one that I want besides Steady Shot is Life Tap, and if I have none of those, then I want something like either Paladin or Shaman so that I can continue to put things onto the board. Come here, you. Come here. Hey. Lola, come here. Up. Right across my keyboard. Thank you. Hey, hold still. So more often than not, what you're seeing in Wild are these typically super slow, grindy shamans. They play like 8 board wipes in their deck between Lightning Storm, Devolve, Elemental Destruction, Volcano, and then they play weird like Ancestral Recall, Death Rattle, N'Zoth shenanigans. So here I'm at a crossroads where I want to play Mark of the Lotus so I can just punch through this. But I also want to play Soul of the Forest because I don't particularly care if my board dies. I'm pretty sure Soul of the Forest is the better play, but it gets me blown out super bad if he has it. So this gets me vastly superior board state and less likely to be blown out by Devolve in exchange for getting wrecked if he has the Lightning Storm.
I wonder. When Earth moves, empires fall.
That is not a Lightning Storm. That's probably the best pickup I could have gotten here. I get to put 4 damage on his face with that. Now, the punch through it. Shuffle. I bet it is on shuffle. It is on shuffle. Living mana here. Gotta have second Lightning Storm in hand now, and that's gonna let me put 6 damage on his face, plus whatever I manage to draw out of my deck. That's not a Lightning Storm. So he's still dead here. Guardian. That doesn't save him, does it? $10, $12, $13. 13 is what I can put on him this turn. Oh yeah, I was off by 2. 11. I forgot I don't have the mana to squeeze in the hero power here as well.
When Earth moves, empires fall.
He's still dead though.
The scourge will devour all.
We're not dead yet. I was wrong. So we'll see if he can flip this around or not. Now he's just dead.
Well played.
Malfurion versus Maiev!
None can escape my fury.
I must protect the wild.
So we're pretty okay with keeping just all of this. The big cards that we're trying to avoid that are going to come from Rogue are going to be Sap and Vanish, and that's just because most of the rogues that are hanging out in Wild are playing Weapon, and they're Weapon Mills, and they're going to have both of those. Sometimes they have Kidnapper, sometimes they don't. So here the best thing that we can do is just put as much pressure on their face as possible. I mean, this thing having taunt is pretty bad for business because they can't just swing at me. Soul of the Harvest is a huge liability in this matchup. The only time that I'm going to drop the Soul of the Harvest is if my board is full and my hand is full. Otherwise, it just doesn't do anything. Crap. Yep, here comes the Vanish. We just reload just like that.
For the wilds.
Second Sharp Sword Oil. We still don't care what he's doing at this point. Arc is pretty big pickup. 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13. 13 is what we could do to him here. We don't want to blow the swipe though until we can ensure lethal.
For the wilds.
As long as he can't clear the board and give his weapon lifesteal, we're in this. But if he does both of those, I don't think there's any coming back.
Smart moves. I concede.
Got him.
Malfurion versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
I must protect the wild.
So this hand has the potential to be really great. I don't know if I want second mark here. I feel like what I want more than second mark here is a living roots, but I'm just going to keep it anyway, because if I can go egg into find another 1-drop and get both of these marks off, then everything's gravy. Excuse me.
Time runs out on me.
That's pretty good.
Who's up for an adventure?
So, Fire Blast is the more aggressive option here, but Totems lets me put more bodies on the board, which makes things like Mark of the Lotus better and Savage Roar. So I'm gonna take Totem. We're gonna kind of slow roll the Mark of the Lotus here. If he glyphed into Blizzard, he plays it this turn. If he glyphed into Flame Strike, he plays it next turn. We also want to have Mark, yeah, see, glyph into Blizzard. Just gonna jam it. Healing Totem was a pretty big flip there. If he can't clear this, Savage Roar should just be lethal. Second Blizzard. I mean, second Blizzard is pretty nutty. Probably a Frostbolt. It could be Rotten Torch. I mean, that means that he can trade, but that's fine. The double Savage Roar is going to be enough.
Malfurion versus Gul'dan.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky there because I had the correct read all the way through that game. So, against Warlock, we kind of want to keep Keeper of the Grove because Void Caller and Possessed Lackey let him cheat Void Lord in, and Void Lord is not a card that we can beat unless we have the silence on the Void Lord the turn that he puts it out there. It's not a card we can beat.
Who's up for an adventure?
A steady shot. That is exactly what we needed here. We want steady shot for two reasons. Reason one, this fool's probably going to tap himself into Oblivion. Reason two, this doesn't care about Void Daddy. Coin Hellfire. Probably Hellfire. Yep, there's the Hellfire. All of these 4-drops in my hand is not good either. But I have the Jeeves, and the Jeeves says that I need to play my cards as I get them so that I can benefit from it.
I must safeguard.
Savage Roar is still a card that we can draw and win with. Mark of the Lotus is also okay. He has to have either Defile or second Hellfire. And we're not necessarily upset about second Hellfire because that means that there is no Reno Jackson hanging out. So now we get to watch Jeeves carry us. We've seen 2 Hellfires and a Defile. The only thing that he might have left is Dark Pact to kill that thing, to guaranteed kill that thing off, or a second Defile. Okay, so he's digging for second Defile. What a weirdo.
The scourge will devour all.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that he would play Demon Wrath, but it's not good in the deck that's trying to kill Void Caller off. We can't beat Void Lord.
I concede.
It's alright though, it's only rank 18. Or rank 17.
Your soul shall be mine. I must protect the wild.
Demon Wrath was not a card I considered there. In order to play Demon Wrath, play around Demon Wrath, I should have played the Mark. Or just not jammed the Living Mana. But we don't really care about the taunt here, not against this deck. If it was Zoo, the taunt would be more relevant and we'd want it on a better body. But it's alright if it's not. The possibility of this being Zoo is pretty slim anyway, because Zoo plays more 1-drops than I do.
Possibilities.
Ooze makes me think that it's Reno. If it's Reno, we can put pressure on them to have specific answers. We play second Power of the Wild to pump the board because it lets us put more pressure on him instead of just playing the Mark here. If we just put the Mark on this, it makes it bigger, but he can still trade across. How overwhelming? Shadow Flame? Shadow Flame, that's fine. playing those two cards, he's probably playing Reno. Yeah, this is almost certainly a Reno deck.
The scourge will devour all.
Lord is not a beast.
Yes. Oh, yes. They'll serve me now.
Darkness rises. I must save her. Find a room.
So this is the all-in. If he has Reno Jackson, it's not a card that we can beat. He's played the Dark Pact already. So he's got to have second Dark Pact plus Cube. 5, 6, 7. 7 plus 8 is what, 15? Did we just top deck lethal? We sure did.
Malfurion versus Rexxar.
Let the hunt begin. I must protect the wild. There's no look save.
So this hunter deck's playing minions, so we're going to take the value trades where we can.
This beast will not be tamed.
Thing we have to worry about them sweeping our board with is Explosive Trap. The possibility of this guy having Explosive Trap is pretty slim.
For an adventure.
But when you look at something like this, you have to weigh Life Tap versus Steady Shot. The question that you have to ask yourself is how many times do you plan on tapping or hitting the hero power button? The answer is every chance you can squeeze it in, you take the Steady Shot, because a deck like this shouldn't be playing healing. If the answer is maybe once or twice because you have other things to do with your mana over the course of the next several turns, then you take the Life Tap. We're going to take the Life Tap.
Time waits for no one.
Now, typically when we're taking Steady Shot, we're taking it because it's the most aggressive one in the lineup. And that's typically what we want, is the most aggressive one. But when you've got Steady Shot and Life Tap next to each other, you have to weigh how many times you actually plan on using your hero power button.
I must safeguard.
I mean, we've hit it twice so far. So he'd be at
My
4
for Argus.
instead of 7, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Plus, Jeeves is also a card that we play. Venom Strike Trap, we don't care about that. He's still dead here. This is just icing on the cake.
Feel nature's
I need to let my dog out before she starts throwing a fit, so I'll be right back.
Malfurion versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
I must protect the wild.
Well, I sure do appreciate that. This is pretty good. Soul of the Forest is like one of the best cards that we can have against Mage. Simply because they want to clear the board against us on a regular basis, but this makes all of their board clears bad. I was really hoping he hit that because this Mark of the Yashiraj, the fact that we got the second one is pretty nutty, but this just opens it up for us. The next turn we can go Dragon Egg plus Mark. Simulacrum means he's either playing Sea Witch Giant or Exodia.
Amazing.
The ability of him having a polymorph is pretty slim. Turn we can just play Soul of the Forest and it doesn't matter if he Frost Nova Doomsayers or not. Like Frost Nova Doomsayer here is probably his only saving grace. But that's not even going to save him. And that would mean that he had Doomsayer in hand when he played Simulacrum. So we don't want to play Living Roots and play Soul of the Forest here. Part of the reason why we don't do that is because Living Roots represents 2 damage right out of hand. The other reason is that this has Death Rattle, and this has Death Rattle to summon minions already. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we overload, there's a good possibility we can miss out on the 4/4 that the Nerubian Egg gives us.
My greetings.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Amazing.
9, 10, 14, 15, 16.
Malfurion versus Rexar.
Let the hunt
I'm
begin.
playing an incredibly
Must
fun
protect
and
the
interactive deck. Can't call it despicable. In the opener isn't necessarily a great thing, but it does mean that if I happen to find Steady Shot plus Life Tap, I can take that. I'm going to take Steady Shot this time. I mean, the other two let me get onto the board, but if it's Spell Hunter, it doesn't necessarily matter if I'm on the board. Egg Hunt. Play Nerubian Egg here, and we're gonna trade one. He's probably about to play something that says trigger this thing's Death Rattle. And we don't have the resources to fight for that kind of board right now.
You love my new recipe.
We can't clear it, but we don't have to worry about him putting more of them out here. We play Egg, a Hero Power, and push face? Or do we play Egg Mark even though we're not benefiting from the mark? I think that's what we do. If we play Mark, we can trade into this, and this still leaves us with more bodies on the board.
Rat of corpse. This no look save. Rat of corpse.
So we're rooting for a 1-drop. We really want Mark of the Lotus to come flying off the top. More than anything, we want Mark of the Lotus. Power of the Wild is also good here. And we don't care. He has these. He's not doing what we're doing, where he's playing buffs and hoping that they land on it, except for Shaky Zip Gunner, which we already killed off. That's about the only thing that we should have to play around.
What to do?
Sustenance.
Job done.
Take him out anyway, though.
Your magic shall not save you.
Can I help you, sir? Sustenance. Let me get that.
Of the Wild, Living Roots. We really want to pick up Savage Roar here. More than anything, we want Savage Roar. Yeah, I misclicked and killed the egg by accident, so I had to make the decision to kill them both after that.
I wonder.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Means the most we can come up with this turn. I think that's alright, because 5, 6, 7, 8. He has to play a beast, a 1-cost beast, and have kill command, or be able to push some other way to push 8 damage from hand.
Time waits for no one.
I mean, that's pretty bad. Still have outs though.
I must safeguard the land. Job's done.
Doesn't make any sense for his deck to be playing freezing. It's fine.
Feel nature's wrath.
Freezing trap. There's the explosive trap.
The scourge will devour all. Job's done.
I have no time for games.
Well played.
We did it.
Well fought. I can see.
Even with the misclick, we still pull it off.
Malfurion versus Anduin. The light shall bring victory.
I must protect the wild.
So, Priest is one of the most frustrating matches for us to play. I don't think I want any of this except for maybe the egg. Priest, depending on which one it is, plays a card called Mass Dispel, and Mass Dispel just completely hoses us. Like, Zero Mana Silence is also pretty big, but Mass Dispel is one of the worst things that we can see. Two, 4, 6, 7.
What to do?
That seems okay. We don't get the buff off of this, but it's alright. We're gonna split the difference here. 4, 5, 6. So we split the buffs up like that so that if he's playing Zero Mana Silence, he has to choose between nerfing the egg or nerfing the Firefly.
Medicine insect. Sustenance.
This game, Jeez is gonna have to carry us.
Secret agent coming through.
So I can play the Jeeves this turn, and doing that gets me 2 cards, but he can just trade into it with Operative. If he plays Dragonfire Potion, then he trades into the egg and hits Dragonfire Potion, and then I'm left with nothing. I think the eggs and Jeeves, the egg and Jeeves are worth protecting.
My work is paramount. Leave me alone. My work is paramount. Leave me alone.
Can I help you, sir?
Feel nature.
Don't have
For the wild.
the resources to trade into his board. Go face. We hope that living mana is enough. Yeah, here comes the Dragonfire. Sweet. Double swipe.
I've wondered.
Light bomb, so it wouldn't have mattered if we'd buffed there or not.
For the wild.
So this puts both minions at 4 attack, which is not an attack value that Priest can interact well with. Which means that he's either forced to silence if he plays the silence, or trade his board into it.
I dream and the world trembles.
I don't think we come back from this.
I concede.
Depending on how this next match goes, I might just change it up, play Token Paladin for a bit.
Malfurion versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine. I must protect the wild.
Do not want any of that in the opener. We don't really want Soul of the Forest here either, but we'll take it. The mark pickup was super good for us. This mark pickup is also very good. Here we're gonna play Dragon Egg plus Mark. We're gonna buff one of these two. If we play Soul of the Forest and he has Defile, Defile just clears it. These will die, they'll make 2/2s, these will have 1 health. And then they'll die to the next tick, and these will be 2/1s and they'll die to the next tick. So this way, if he has the Hellfire, he clears most of this, but he leaves us with a 2-1 and a 2-4 on the board. Yeah, there's the Hellfire. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
For the wild.
Malfurion versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
I must protect the wild.
This is an okay hand. We really want to pick up Mark of the Lotus. Would rather this had been Mark of the Lotus instead of Power of the Wild, but we'll probably pull it off anyway. He doesn't have Mana Worm on turn 1. We're just gonna jam the Haunted Creeper. We're gonna jam the Haunted Creeper here anyway, or at least try to. We'll see if this is Counterspell or not. That's not Counterspell. Probably Explosive Runes then. Yep, there's the Explosive Runes.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
So here we have an interesting decision. We can slam the Nerubian Egg, and then next turn play Dragon Egg plus Power of the Wild. That does mean that we just trade and go face with this one, and he gets a value trade there. But it might be enough of a board that we can come back from it with. So we check for second Explosive Rune. It's not the runes, so it's probably Counterspell. So which one do we value more? Probably the Power of the Wild. Power of the Wild means that the eggs can attack and get trades in. So we're gonna try this. Yeah, there's Counterspell. Second Counterspell. Second Counterspell.
For the wild.
Both Counterspells are out of the way, which means that Savage Roars just clean up.
An incredible discovery!
Yeah, it's probably not going to be good enough, though.
I wonder.
Probably worth silencing the mad scientist. He picked up another secret.
What to do?
Is the play here. Checks for a secret.
What to do? What to do?
Excuse me, you are on fire. I wonder.
I think I'm okay if this dies to explosive runes.
The scourge will devour all.
For the wild.
I just need to pick up Jeeves now. If I can pick up Jeeves, I can flip this game.
I must safeguard the land. For the wild.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
That's probably second a potion of polymorph. Yeah. I just give the sheep taunt and make trading in and dealing with my panther problematic for him. Of course, he can just have the fireball, that's also a thing. Yeah, he's out of secrets now.
We have many secrets.
I've officially waded through the storm. Now I just need to find a card that matters.
I can see. must protect the wild.
So, in theory, everything this Paladin deck is trying to do, we should just be able to do it better. Righteous Protector is the best thing that he can have in this opener.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
What to do? Time waits for no one.
I'm really confused by the Mad Scientist, because Secret Paladin shouldn't be playing Mad Scientist.
Mind if I roll need?
For the wild.
Mind if I roll need?
The redemption means that it's not Secret Paladin, it's N'Zoth control, which means that I've got to worry about cards like Equality Consecrate.
For the wild.
Next turn, we're going to play Living Roots and Soul of the Forest. Probably not going to matter.
I wonder. I wonder.
He's got the Consecrate, we probably just lose.
The light dims, but we fight.
Job done.
I might still be able to pull this off.
Who am I? None of your business. Get down!
Alright, so the last secret is competitive spirit. Which means that's swinging at me for 10. That would make 11, 12, 13, 14.
Time waits for no one. Job done.
Come here, you. Looking good.
What to do? Time waits for no one. Get down! I concede.
Arthas versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
For Lordaeron!
The light dims, but we fight.
So I'm pretty sure I'm just taking this weapon out of my deck because it trolls me with the most worthless mode on a regular basis. Like, I have never once sat here, had that weapon in my deck and thought, man, I really wish I could give all of my minions taunt.
You win this.
Well played.
There it goes. Huh? I guess. Or you can just shut it. It won't matter to me.
Jaina!
You asked for it.
Proloderon!
So against Mage, we can jam Lost in the Jungle on turn 1, and it's okay if we go first. If they go first and they have an opening like this, Lost in the Jungle does nothing. With double Mana Worm opener like this, I can Lost in the Jungle this turn, and I might be able to provoke the Mana Worms
Reporting for duty.
into trading in. Because he probably wants to play Secret here. Yeah, there's Secret. Now we'll see if he decides to go face or not. So it's not counterspell, so we can just consecrate and clear.
We have many secrets.
That's counterspell. This is not a good match for us. We really don't want to play Rallying Blade until we can combo it with Steward of Darkshire, plus a bunch of dudes. But we probably don't have a choice but to play it just so we can clear some of this nonsense out.
Evil will be purged!
Keeping my life total high in this matchup is super important because when they draw Aludeth, all they're looking to do is burn me out at that point. Just explosive.
Excuse me, you are on fire. Evil will be purged!
Polymorph. Okay.
I'm late. I'm late.
Back to your homes.
The battle is over. You win.
Go on. Out. Out. Yes, you. Out. Go on.
Arthas versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
Proloderon!
This is an opener we can probably beat Secret Mage with. Assuming that it is Secret Mage.
An incredible discovery!
That is not the attack that was supposed to be made. I need to slow down.
We have many secrets.
Yep, there's a secret.
Reporting for duty. Weapon ready. Evil will be purged. Job done.
Not counterspell, so it's either explosive runes or potion.
You are on fire.
I'll show them all!
We're gonna pop whatever it is with the Stegodon.
The battle! The battle! The battle! Evil will be purged.
We go all face here because we have second Stegodon. And he's probably not going to trade into these. Now we can try rolling plus attack on it.
Reporting for duty. The battle! The battle! The battle! Evil will be purged. Done.
I'll show them. I'll show them all!
I should have played this first. If it's polymorph, I'm real sad. So what? You can shut it, that way she'll stay in here. And there's the polymorph.
The battle! Evil will be purged. Excuse me, you are on fire.
And with the cabal!
The battle! Evil will be purged. Job done. Reporting for duty.
Vine Cleaver is going to carry us through the rest of this game.
You win.
Arthas!
3 mages in a row, all playing the same stupid secret mage deck. Need to find... None of these are shielded mini-bot.